I'm not into setting my hands on fire because I need them.
You know what it was, Adam? Is as always my hubris was my downfall. As per usual.
You flew too close to the sun.
I really did.
You flew too close to the sun.
Because I was just like, yeah, just set more of me on fire. Because I'm an idiot. Like, I'm real dumb.
Hey, when it comes to fire, I think that your decision making is poor.
It's really poor.
I'm not going to question you on that.
But the reason
I just don't set the hands on fire because.
The reason I thought about that, though, in regards to your back tweak that you had, is when we were doing one of the earlier episodes where we made it snow and then we sledded on it. I took like a lot of spills because I was trying to like walk up and down the snow and stuff like that. It was really slippery. And
snow has that.
I wound up with like my entire back wrenched. Like
no. And try playing a shooter like Titanfall with the back that's all sensitive and tweaky. It's
You're kind of sensitive and tweaky.
I think you may be onto something.
If I was going to describe you in 2 words, it would be sensitive and tweaky.
Yeah. You see all the coffee cups on my desk? They were tweeting them out today?
Dude, it's Kenny comes down on me so much because there are never fewer. He sends me like tweets. He's like, no fewer than 9 cups on Anthony's desk today. I'm a slob, man. I am such a slob.
I mean, I was actually back in the olden days of television. Now let stuff pile up on my desks. I kind of used the properties of, or the principles of archaeology. That which is most recent is closest to the surface, so it doesn't really matter. Ever since those times on television, I kind of have gone back to more of a Semitic mindset, which is let's travel light. We don't know when they're coming.
Right.
So yeah, so really it's just coffee cups. It's just evidence that I was once there.
I really use that archaeological organization system in my entire life. It'll just be like, well, I haven't touched that in 3 weeks. It's 3 layers down.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to throw it away without looking at it.
It makes complete sense.
That's what I do when I move. When I go to move, and it's how I've every time I've moved, I half the amount of stuff that I have.
Yeah.
Because I just look at a box and I'm like, oh, there might be something important in that box, but at the same time, I've lived in this apartment for a year and I haven't opened that box.
How important could it be?
Well, I'll tell you, one time I actually did throw away.
Your birth certificate?
No, some stuff like my great aunt gave us this beautiful china from.
This actually sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was real early 1900s China.
Oh, it was like an original Wedgwood.
I wasn't anything like that. It was real gaudy, terrible, ugly grandma china, but she gave it to us, and so I felt like I needed to keep it, and I just didn't open the box, and I threw it away, and I was like, that's probably what was in one of those boxes.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I'm living
that's the
lighter.
beginning of being profiled on a documentary on A&E. Right there is what you described.
Yeah, well, because my dad's a big hoarder, so I'm really I really don't want stuff because I'm afraid that I'm a hoarder, so it makes me overly sensitive. Because my dad has one of those things where you open up his secret room that his wife's not allowed to go into, and it looks like the season finale of True Detective. It's just piles of stuff that he has to walk in between and things like that.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, and hello everyone.
Hi.
No, we are not going to spoil that final episode. I think everyone has 24 more hours to watch the final episode of True Detective.
And then
and then we're done.
I say what I feel.
We're going to talk about it. As you know, Anthony and I like to get together and play a game or two.
Usually 2.
Yeah.
Exactly 2.
And we have 2 today. 2 very, very similar games in name only.
It's T-Fall Tuesday. We've got Towerfall, and then we have Titanfall.
That's how you pronounce it?
It's
not Titanfall?
Titanfall.
It's not Titanfall?
Titanfall?
I have Titanfall.
I don't
Oops. Know. Oh well. Time to annotate a YouTube video.
What's interesting is there are some similarities to these games, mostly in terms of how they are being reviewed. Towerfall is being yelled at for not having any online multiplayer, and Titanfall is being yelled at for only having online multiplayer.
So you know what? What we are doing is we are bridging the gap.
Really, on T-Fall
in a way
Tuesday,
that I wish our country could do in its political systems. But we are finding bridges.
Reach across the divide. That's all I'm saying.
Reach across.
Actually, what we're saying is if you buy both of them, you get 1 full game on T-Fall Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
You get
and
your
you know what? And in the review, you can affix a score to it.
You got your offline. Oh man!
It might get a little salty today, kids.
You are so we're gonna start with Towerfall. So Towerfall is
I have not played it
multiplayer
yet.
game.
And this
is
was
great.
once only on the Ouya, am I right?
Yeah. This was
And now
the big Ouya system
So
seller.
now the birdie's been let out of the cage to spread its wings and fly and discover what type of an aviary creation it really is.
Yeah, it was a real bummer when this had that Ouya exclusivity window. You want to grab your?
Oh, I'm gonna grab this.
Let's just grab
So
it.
yeah, who should I play as?
it doesn't-
I like
they're
that.
all
That's like an evil Smurf.
Yeah, they're all functionally the same.
Oh, okay. He is. Oh, that's an assassin prince. Who doesn't want that?
So this is a couch.
Last man standing. That's
Yeah.
that's another similarity to Titanfall.
God, it's unending. I wonder if some industrial espionage didn't happen. So a lot of different game modes here. This is all
Team
couch
deathmatch.
co-op.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's a complete rip-off of Quake.
A lot of variants you can see here. Mm-hmm. So really, really fun. This is another in that kind of recent glut of indie games that's all about
Yeah, so
couch
the,
versus-
the Needhogs and what was the other one that was a lot of fun? We were
Samurai
jumping-
Gun.
No, it wasn't Samurai Gun. There was another one.
Samurai Gun.
Yeah, we played about 2-3 weeks ago, and there was some jumping in it and fighting, and there was different locations on the map.
Samurai Gun.
No, it wasn't Samurai Gun.
So you've got jump is A, arrow is X. You only have 3 arrows.
Oh,
Which
crap,
you can go
really?
catch. Yeah, but I just took that, so now I have 4 and you have 2. And then right trigger is to dodge or catch an arrow.
Okay.
And you can hold down and kind of charge your shot.
Oh, I thought that was right trigger I was supposed to hit.
Get a sweet instant replay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is it? Am I supposed to time the trigger pull, or do I just hold it
you have
down?
to, yeah, you have to kind of just. You'll see the animation. You've also got like a lot of
So
wall
we're just,
jumpies.
are we just trying to kill each other?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm green, by the way. Adam is pink.
I'm an assassin prince.
You've got a lot of wall
there an
jumping.
Assassin King?
You've got through the screen, and Mario head stomps kill.
Hey! Oh, I thought I had a moment of genius there. Oh, wait, did I catch that?
You got it. Yeah. So this is great. Okay, so now stuff starts coming in from the
Whoa.
sides. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that there was evil as well.
Oh yeah. There's a ton of different
Yeah, they
environments.
completely took that idea from Forza, I just want to let you know.
This is. This only has couch co-op, but you can play against people's arrow tars.
See, these games, I only want to do couch co-op. So if I'm not there with the person to complain
So this is cool. You
about
can
what they're
see,
doing
like,
to me.
You get the treasure chest. You get
Ooh, I
all
got
kinds of
treasure
weirdy
chest.
things.
Whoa, whoa.
So I got drugs mode, and you've got a bubble shield. Oh,
Oh, look at that. Can I
don't
pull
wanna-
arrows out of you?
you can't, but they wind up in the environment, I think. So you see that's glowing green.
Oh,
So it's a pressure plate of some kind. Something can happen to you when you're on that.
so does this have a single player campaign?
This has a single player kind of like training mode, and single player, like it'll set you up with bots and stuff.
This is just Call of Duty with arrows.
And different goals. Man, you are so salty. What do you want? Let's talk. Do you want to talk about Titanfall?
No, we're going to talk about Titanfall
No, do you
later.
wanna- do you wanna
We're
talk
gonna talk
about-
about Titanfall in the Titanfall segment.
Okay.
And how
but
I
if you
can't play it
wanna-
right now because my back hurts too much.
If you want to just like relax and play some Towerfall and talk about Titanfall, I'm willing to do that with you. I feel like you have things to say.
So this was, some of everyone's favorite
I
game
got
last
sweet
year.
Wings. I got sweet wings.
I have.
I'm an
what's that? What is that?
angel.
Ooh, I got my bubble of safety.
But I already got rid of it. Sorry, sucker. What do you got? All the arrows?
Oh,
I came down upon you.
wait. So you can hurt them by jumping on their
Yeah,
heads?
you can head stomp.
I like how it reflects real life in that regard.
Yeah. Get all the treasures. So many arrows.
Oh, hey, what you doing up there with all the arrows?
Oh, I didn't see that little guy.
Ooh.
That little boulder right there.
Oh! That was a really good shot.
Thanks, man.
So, wait, were you able to angle your arrow, or was I just like wrong place, right time?
I think you were, for me, you were in the right place at the right time. To be
Hey,
fair.
I only have 50% less than you.
But you get all these different
I'm
little
the most
end of-
evasive.
Yeah. All these different little
You know what? A lot of
awards.
people say that when they talk to me.
They say, you know what? He's a little tweaky, a little invasive.
A little evasive. Yeah. A little old.
Variants. We
No
can
friendly
do
fire.
No time limits.
Well,
sudden
friendly
death.
fire seems relevant if you're playing with more than 2 people.
Always a big treasure. Bottomless treasure, which means you can just keep running and grabbing stuff.
With a bomb chest.
Arrows, secret arrows, which hides your arrows, so you can't see how many arrows the other guy has and can't see how many arrows you have.
How's that possible?
So you just can't see them.
Yeah, but
So it shows them over your
couch.
head. No, but right now it shows them over your head, right? Your character's head. And this, how many you have left.
Oh.
This will remove that, so you never know.
I just have to know on the inside, because I'm just one with my bow.
You have to feel the arrow.
Yeah, I know.
Like at the beginning of Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Exactly.
So there are all these different things. Arenas, slow time, always lava, always scrolling. Scrolling is insane. Let's turn on always scrolling.
Okay. All right, that's what I always say to people, always be scrolling.
And we'll play in...
It's kind of like the new Glengarry Glen Ross. Always be scrolling.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, whoa!
It's like the vertical hold on your TV is messed up. And now you've got to pay attention to what's going on.
Hey, it looks like I can collect arrows. Oh, stop jumping on my head.
Yeah, you can collect arrows.
You said I couldn't.
No, I said you could.
You're trying to deceive me.
No. I said you can pick up
I might
arrows.
be always evasive, you're always deceptive.
I think you have a problem listening. There, I said it. We've
No.
all been thinking it.
I have a problem
I said it to
hearing.
you. It's a different.
Those goodies up there?
So I can like.
Ooh, I got treasure, you didn't.
Well, you went to the treasure, but you didn't get the treasure. I got the treasure.
What are you talking about?
I'm flying with wings, dude. I'm a magical angel.
Oh!
Multiple head stomps. After this one, we're gonna bring Nick in to show you 3-player, because this is up to a 4-player game.
Speaking of Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
I wonder if there's any fascinating questions he's finding among our... oh, I got you! I got you!
Some nerd says, so this is Samurai Arrow. Yeah, kinda. There's a big fight going on between me and the Area 5 guys about whether this is better or Samurai Gun is better.
It's important, because without that taxonomy, how can we have stability in civilization?
We can't.
Something has to be better than something else, right?
We have got to rate one as higher than the other. Oh my goodness! Max Wink comes into my ear.
Max Wink in our ear saying that Towerfall is better.
I go back and forth. I think this is a better party game and a better tournament game because there are so many different variants and stuff. Samurai Gun is very much about very simple, very twitch, one-hit kill, simple combat. This feels like it draws equally from Smash Brothers and Bushido Blade, whereas this feels more heavily Smash Bros. Inspired to me.
Yeah, I actually kind of see where you're coming from on that.
Oh!
I keep on,
Darkness!
like walking under your feet.
Yeah, don't do that. Feet kill. All right.
Man, I really play poorly.
Hey, Nick
Hello,
Robinson.
Nick.
What's up?
Look, everyone, it's the internet's Nick Robinson.
I don't think I belong to the internet, per se.
Well, think what you will. But, you know.
Macchio says, have Adam and Anthony played Payday 2? I played it a little bit when it first came out, and I heard that they have really changed a lot and balanced a lot, and I want to go back in, but I loved what I played.
I have not. If memory serves me right, Payday 2 released at a time where I was busy with other games that I had to be playing as well. Nothing against Payday 2. And so there. So
We should play it. We should play it.
So
on the
are you
stream.
playing Evil Smurf?
I'm the blue one. That's my character. I've decided
So
that
Nick is
long
blue.
ago.
I'm green. Adam's gonna tell you he's red, but he's like pink.
No, I'm more of a magenta.
Are you one of the many colorblind people in this industry?
No, I'm actually not. I just don't care.
He's
Well, I did once, but yeah, I now take medication for it.
oh.
I totally just tried to pull off a samurai gun double jump, which is not a thing.
But you still managed to kill me. Martin Blasco says,
I need to stop jumping under people.
I
It just
wish
seems
this
like the
game
right thing
was
to do.
available when I
Does
was
it?
12. Yeah.
God, that's such a good point. This is like,
Yes.
I mean, when I was 12, we had Smash Brothers, but this is sort of a good stand-in. Uh-oh, scary. Someone's got laser arrows.
Who's got the flaming arrows?
Oh.
It was laser, I think.
Okay.
I'm
laser
starting
arrows?
Which is
to
way
see,
scarier.
like-
Invisible character. Oh, those
Whoa.
arrows hit each other. I see you, son.
You see me, but you can't do nothing
you
about
bopped me on the
it.
head. Scooping up the field mice. So I have that cape, I guess, because I was in the lead. Is that how that works? Or is that just always there? No, the crown is because I'm in the lead. I got it.
Well, somebody grazed your head with an arrow.
Oh, you saw what I was gonna do when I did it, and then you got me for
One of
it.
them
Because
jumps.
everybody has like an arrow graze effect. Like my bandana will come off. I think your
Oh,
hood
gotcha.
comes down.
I think the crown is, and maybe I'm getting confused with Mario, but I think the crown is for whoever's in first.
It could be. And then your hood also
Oh, laser
came down.
arrows, so scary.
No laser arrows. Oh god, miasma walls.
So do we have it? I think, whoops, a daisy.
Yeah!
Oh, did you see what I did there? Let's watch that in slow motion real quick. This is a classic technique. It's called shooting a laser arrow straight up into the air and hitting yourself in the head with it.
That's a really good technique.
I've seen it.
It's called the if I can't win, no one can.
I'm taking all my toys and going home.
Yeah.
That's kind of the technique.
Whoa!
Oh, that was real close.
That was really, really close.
So Adam,
So do you try to be aggressive, or are you trying to react to what other
Oh.
people are doing?
yes.
Ooh, gotta be everything. Always
I
be.
knew it. Oh! I felt like it was making a difference right there.
So
And
by
it-
default-
Oh!
Look at that.
Look
But
at you.
By default, it gives you a pity shield if you've lost a few times, so you might be noticing that you have a little
Yeah.
pity shield around you.
It's like Depends adult undergarments.
It is a lot like the adult undergarments, correct.
At least Anthony has a pity shield too. Oh! I wanted to.
Oh. Man, I don't like these laser arrows. So Adam, this is your first time playing this, right?
Yeah.
How you liking it?
Hey man.
Hey, I like it. Ooh, it got all druggy.
Got a little druggy.
I mean, no, I actually really do. It's one of those. You know, I really love the idea that I have to like try out games and concepts in public. Oh, I really try to make a difference there. I really do.
Nicely done. I love
I
this.
feel like I'm really, really glad that this is no longer trapped in the Ouya ghetto.
For sure.
Like so much. Because a lot of people were watching since last year. So many people were talking.
I jumped on your head. I jumped on your head.
You
I
did.
did it, internet. I did it.
Let me do a real quick
Everyone grab
drive-by.
a glass of prune juice and raise it to me for doing that.
So many people have been talking about Towerfall for a while, particularly in the press, because the press are mostly the people that
The only people who have Ouyas.
We're really the only ones who talk.
But it's such a bummer that this game has been caught on there for so long. And everybody in the press started really talking about it the second they started playing it, because it's such a brilliant game. And I was really, really worried that people would be tired of hearing about it by the time it came out on the PC and the PS4 today. And so I'm hoping everybody's not sort of fatigued. I'm hoping the press still wants to talk about it. I'm hoping people still want to try it out. Because it really
Are
is
you tired
brilliant.
about people talking about certain things? Let it be known.
For once.
For once, Internet, just tell us
That was a good shot.
if you're tired of people saying
For the
things.
next 5 minutes, we're gonna pretend to care.
I love the subtle homing effect on the arrows. That's pretty
Somebody
great.
asked, don't you own an Ouya, Anthony? Yes, I do. My Ouya is the one that we play Towerfall on mostly.
Yep.
And I bought it because I was like, I work in video games and I should have an Ouya because I, want to know what that's about.
I mean, I don't have one. It's just.
I really love the way the dodging and arrow grabbing feels.
And also, I'll say this. I hoped against hope.
Ah!
I knew that the Ouya made no sense and it was probably not going to be great, but I wanted to believe.
Yeah, I feel like some people were in a weird
I was
way.
the Fox Mulder of Ouyas.
I can't help you. I don't know what that means.
Really?
What is that? Is that X-Files?
It's an X-Files, there you go.
Very goodness.
Some of it's just by osmosis.
I mean, look, I think. I just don't believe. I mean, I'm more. I like what I like to call an anti-theist. I don't even believe in believing.
Look at it.
Oh! Oh, I so stomped on your head. Oh, it really is satisfying when you do that. It's a true sense of accomplishment.
Steve Rice says, I own an Ouya and I never even knew about this. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's yet another problem with the Ouya.
Yeah.
Ah!
Some people are saying that they have an Ouya, but they still haven't hooked it up.
That makes sense.
At this point, at this juncture, you can leave it in the box.
I wonder if you
I
could,
mean,
like...
the one thing I have to say is really interesting is I'm trying to keep on reminding myself that I can fall through the bottom and it's okay.
Yeah.
Just, there's just that conditioning that you're not supposed to do that.
There are intricacies between this and Samurai Gun that you kind of have to take some time and wrap your head around, and it's hard to switch back and forth for at least the first round, I feel like.
So you really should just make friends with one game.
A little bit. Pick a side.
Oh,
that's
I saw it and I thought I jumped.
But I was able to stomp on his head, and I thought that was really cool that I did that to Nick.
Oh, wait, so the bouncy arrow went up and then hit you on the other side of the screen. But really the same side of the screen.
Yeah, this one goes to Nick. Congratulations, Nick. So that's Towerfall. It's on the PC. It's on the PS4.
It's got wave dashing, kind of.
It's got wave dashes.
A little bit. Not really.
So pick that up today. I want to see. Do you know how much it is, Nick?
I think it's...
So there is a difference, I do want to say, there's a difference between the Ouya version of Towerfall and this version of Towerfall, which this has the quest mode for 1 or 2 players, which we haven't gotten too much into. Let's show just a little bit of quest mode.
All right. Should mean it's got a story?
No.
It's sort of an expanded version of the training mode from the Ouya version, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is going to give us different goals. So.
Oh. I'm not.
Do you want to get in on it?
No, it's okay.
No,
You
I'll
actually know what
chat.
you're
I'm on
doing.
chat. You go.
Okay, I really want to.
So just kill these dudes.
A little
That's your
horde
goal.
action, kind of.
Oh, that was
Oh.
a ghost. I thought that was you because it was blue.
Hold up. I need to get my arrow back. Can you kill a ghost with arrows?
Yeah, it takes 2 arrows.
I just mean conceptually.
Is that not up for discussion? Really, you can kill a ghost with arrows?
I believe so.
Not even magic
arrows.
arrows. I mean, it's not going to even follow
Let's assume
Elder
just
Scrolls rules?
all arrows in Towerfall are magic.
It's weird to fight enemies with like different
Oh,
movement
man.
patterns than what you're used to in this game.
So it
I
has
got-
this mode, which is
Oh, I
like
didn't do that right.
different quests in different arenas. It's basically an expanded training, but it also is pretty challenging from what I've played so far.
Oh, my fault.
Then also, because it's not on the Ouya, it doesn't have the worst, most awful controller lag in the history of lag that's ever happened ever.
That
So
is
there's
a nice
also
perk.
that.
Oh, that's right. Lag.
And Anthony, it's $15. Right now it's $12.50, I think, because of that week 1 sale that Steam does.
Gotcha.
But $15 normally.
So there you go. That's a Towerfall, and it's
Towerfall.
great. So, once again, Cutter Butter says, is Ouya just for indie games? Let's not lump all indie games into Ouya games.
It's kind of like squares and rectangles.
Because,
Squares are rectangles, but rectangles aren't squares.
yeah, there are definitely a lot of quadrilateral things happening.
Yeah.
But not all are created equal. The Ouya doesn't have a lot.
No.
Doesn't have a lot of good stuff.
I mean, we are going to the Game Developers Conference next week, where we might kind of see more of a slate.
Oh, are you actually taking an Ouya appointment?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No, but there is a game. There's a young gentleman who I'm going to interview, and I believe his game will be available on Ouya. I do not know if it's going to be exclusive.
Oh.
Matt
Can you say-
Gillenbach doing Neverending Nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. One of the few Kickstarters I have openly donated to, because I really want to see how that game's going to turn out.
You know, I'm thinking what he'll probably do is when Matt did Towerfall as an Ouya exclusive, it was a timed exclusive. He obviously got some money from them, right? Mm-hmm. Which is great. And in exchange for that money, he had to be on the Ouya for like 6 months or something like that. I think. I don't know. I'm speculating on how all this works, but
That's good, because that's
Yeah.
what we should do.
yeah. But there was a timed exclusive, and I feel like the
You can do this? Here, I'll grab this.
The fear with timed exclusives is your game comes out, and like I said, maybe everybody hears about Towerfall all the time, and they get bored of it, and the press doesn't want to talk about it anymore. But the beautiful thing about going Ouya exclusive is almost nobody hears about your game. So it's almost like when you launch on the PC, you're launching for the first time.
Well, it's kind of like an early
So you
access
get-
program.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's an incubator. You get
Which
to
is
take
not,
your money.
in a funny way, that's not necessarily a bad thing, other than the revenue generation aspect of it. That's all. All right, so guys, this is a small game. I don't know if these. I don't
This
know if you
week
know
is
about it.
really about Towerfall, but there was another smaller game that came out this week.
Yeah, Titanfall is out on the Xbox One and the PC. I actually do know it's supposed to be out on the 360. I still have yet to see that version of the game. We are playing
That's
on
end
the
of the month,
PC
right? The
version.
360?
I know there are some issues right now with Xbox Live.
I don't know
like
if they
signing
extend,
in.
yeah.
So you guys let us know how that situation is going. So if you're wondering sort of how this is working, there you go. So yeah, once again, robots, people shooting each other. Yeah, you're really gonna need to take a look.
Yeah.
To understand how it works. Once again, little game out there.
So
Titanfall.
only played a couple hours of this during the beta, and I didn't get to play anything else. I didn't get to play it last night.
This game, and I said this in the review, and I highly recommend this to everyone who's playing. When you play it for the first time, really set aside a good chunk of time on it, because in many ways, it'll look familiar, but how it controls, how the logic of the map layouts, and even just like the wall running, you need to kind of unlearn some things to really embrace it, and it takes repeated matches to really get into that.
Well, it was
rationale.
interesting because during the beta, you only had the 2 maps, and I do remember being forced within those few hours to play the same 2 maps over and over.
Yes.
I did
I'm happy to
actually
say,
sort of learn.
the 2 least exciting maps in the game.
Great.
Yeah.
Because I loved them, but I did learn. It did sort of open up more and more to me the more I got familiar with it, and the more I was like, I bet I could make that jump, or I bet they want me to wall run down this alley.
And you realize that you can wall run on so much. I mean, that's what's so clever about the level design in the game is, you need to really appreciate the level of challenge when you have that type of mobility for the player. How you have to rethink how you're going to lay out a level. Because you're really not looking at, okay, maybe we have 2 layers on top of each other, but one that's the ground of the map. You're thinking about how rooftops have to be organized, how you get into a second floor of something, how you exit it.
Look at this map.
Yeah, see, it's big and exciting, and it's. I'm trying to remember which location this is.
That's my.
So yeah.
That's a thing. That's a shoot. I killed myself with a grenade because I'm.
So like I said, guys, it's
I'm
been
looking at the
about
controller.
45 minutes since I've been checking in on how people are doing with this weird sign-in thing that's happening on Xbox Live. So if you have any insight about whether or not it's happening to only some or to all, and only with this game or with every game in existence, share.
I mean, something tells me it's related to this, but it's just crashing everything.
Well, it sounds like it's on the sign-in, which I don't know how to read that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I bet they are just like overcrowded with traffic of just people trying to get into Titanfall, that it's kind of screwing up login for everybody.
It's kind of like about 10 years back when the New Orleans Museum of Art had it was the one place in the U.S. for a touring Cezanne show. It was very hard to get in.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah.
And you're not the first person to say that today.
That's what I thought. I mean, everyone kind of knows.
I think Rock, Paper, Shotgun said the same thing.
Yeah, I would assume so. So you were playing with the 360 controller on the PC.
I killed a dude!
So yeah, that's another thing. I was talking to our
I did it, everyone!
one of our senior executives here who was also trying to play Titanfall. Make sure
Mr.
you're
Steven
aware,
Discovery?
Yeah, be sure you're aware of what mode you're playing, because earning points isn't always just the killing of the dudes. That's actually why I really I found that I really like domination. In fact, I think that there's nothing wrong.
Are you talking
with,
strictly
with,
in Titanfall?
In Titanfall,
Okay.
I find that the objective-based modes, the 2 primaries being capture the flag and their version of domination, it's so much fun to drop a Titan on an enemy. It's kind of like,
I wish I had been the guy who did that instead of the guy who got a Titan dropped right near him.
Just live, learn, that kind of thing. So anyway, I find the objective-based modes really help highlight some of the cool stuff in the game. The fact that you really are dealing with 2 different games in one, because playing a Titan is so different from playing a pilot. Let's take a look. Fanta 666. Look at that, a really pleasant soda and Satan all together in one name. I played the beta on PC and it was fun. I would probably buy it, but it's not really as fun when you're on controller and everyone else is on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
I haven't played enough on PC to be able to opine on that one. Do you feel a lacking of the fun?
You know, you do get this feeling on PC that people are playing with slightly more precise, maybe like quicker control than you. I would want to talk to Andreas.
Yes, Andreas Pearson.
Andreas Pearson, who's the EP at Rev3 Games, does a lot of used to work for Astro and did a lot of MLG and competitive playing, right? Is that
yeah.
So he's the guy where like if you open up a shooter, he goes immediately into the options and is like, here's how you're gonna optimize this aiming and this cursor. And I would want to do that.
Yeah. Dutch Godzilla. Does that mean that like you pay for half of what you destroyed in the city?
Each Godzilla destroys half the city.
Okay, that's how it works. He says, remember when they said Titanfall was going to be a multiplayer game with a story? I of course, everyone knows I love a good story in my games. Didn't miss it here. There's a nominal one, and one that clearly I think had once. I think there are people who have a better sense of the fiction of this universe than the game actually details. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I wouldn't have disliked a single player mode, but it's not also, it's kind of like disproving a negative. I'm not saying like, I can't, because where a single player shooter can deliver on certain things, there's actually enough of the fun and the way that it controls here in the multiplayer that, but yeah, once again, one of my, I wouldn't say complaints, but you get the sense that there was a grander fiction. One of the levels has some like flying monster creatures. And in light of the game you're playing, it's almost borderline arbitrary, and you feel that there was kind of a larger sense of what it was supposed to be, where that would have been better explained.
Whoa.
This game is all about brinking.
Whoops. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Super brinky.
But it's almost like beyond brinking. It's like brunking.
Like you've already brinked?
Yeah, you're like in a constant brunk state. Yeah.
Okay.
Work with me here, Carboni.
It's like a ventriloquist on a Saturday night. Break me home, I'm drunk.
I'm skipping on Titanfall since I'm not buying an Xbox One, and I hate Origin, so guess I'll wait for Titanfall 2. Yeah, if you don't have an Xbox One, you are faced with Origin. There's no way around that one.
Yeah.
At least I can say when you're doing the Xbox One version, you're not sensing the Origin. That's kind of that didn't even occur to me until now. Is it worth buying a multiplayer-only game at launch? What if it's a ghost town within a few months? This is a discussion.
That's a great question.
This is a discussion I've been having with Scott Bromley. Obviously, he recently did the Plants vs. Zombies multiplayer-only game.
Good. Stay alive.
My feeling, and this is a gut thing, obviously the next month will bear this out.
No! I nearly made it to the drop ship.
Yeah, I know. But we believe in you, Carboni. So anyway, on this topic, I think in the case of Titanfall, I think all indications are that this is going to sell very, very well, and so the servers should stay very active. Hopefully, there is a nice, constant stream of new maps, whether
also,
or not you pay for it or not.
Based on the 2014 release schedule and how release dates are just getting pushed and pushed, you may just have to play Titanfall for a while.
So I think it will work well with that. I think maybe not to the same extent. I think a game like Evolve that is doing multiplayer differently. I think the first multiplayer games of this generation, they're trying something new. The first ones out of the gate are going to do fairly well with their base. I think the second comers, they're like, hey, we need to do one of them things there too. That's going to be a little bit more of a problem.
To launch a game like this, I really do feel like it needs to be this exact set of circumstances. It needs to be.
It's not just the game itself.
It needs to be a team this big with this much of a pedigree behind them. It needs to have. It needs to have a publisher as big as EA behind it. It needs to have somebody like Microsoft behind it. Like everybody needs to align and be like, this is what you're playing. Don't worry. This is going to be really good.
I fully expect that we probably will see an onslaught of multiplayer-only games that think that because it was good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Flip a goose and a gander upside down, and you'll notice the differences. There's a reason why I don't think that makes sense. There's someone here, I'm not going to mention his name, who doesn't have a problem with Origin. So yes, I've said, I'm not a fan of Origin. I still don't believe that Origin sneaks into your home at night and steals your children, as some other people that want to do. But yeah. Let's see. I don't know if I can even say this out loud, but M. Blondstrand 92, I'm almost wondering, given your last name, if you are speaking from empirical knowledge. Apparently, brunking means something in Swedish, which you're doing two things at the same time that one should not do at the same time, but involves, in both cases, with your pants down.
Got it.
Here. Yeah, that.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Wow. If someone else can actually confirm that that has that meaning, I have learned something today that, as I said before, I may be more learned, but I am no smarter.
And also, you know what? If you want to come
it.
in and confirm that you've done that, I feel like we've all done that. That's why there's a word for it in Swedish.
Uh-oh, another guy saying, Bombstrand, don't let our secrets out, dude. What's happening in Sweden?
I want to have Plant Man armor.
What's happening at the DICE offices?
How long until I unlock Plant Man armor?
Oh, your Healy suit?
Yeah.
So I might be wrong in this, but a lot of your outfits are a little more contingent upon what weapon you're using, because it kind of sets what you're. It's not so much class-based. It is class-based, and once you get to your customs and you customize, it seems to be dictated a little bit more by.
Whoa! I just dropped down into a thing.
Exactly. This is why I kept on discovering stuff in the levels after playing this game constantly for 2 days straight.
Into it.
It really, there's just something. You know, it's funny, when I said in the review, and if you guys haven't seen the review, do me a favor and go watch it. It took me like 3-4 hours to, no, I'm joking. Actually, it took me much longer than that to put together. Anthony was making fun of me. That there's something that feels a little bit more democratic about this game. Mm-hmm. It seems, not just that it's, I think, more accessible.
Yeah.
Yet harder to master. But maybe it's also because it's not kind of sitting there fetishizing militarism.
Oh, this is a training
that it doesn't
area.
feel as exclusionary. But there's also something kind of joyful. You're having jetpacks and robots.
You know,
it kind of made me realize that, oh, that's right, multiplayer games are supposed to be fun.
I saw some people that were really thrown off, really didn't like the fact that it was a little more democratic and that there was something for everyone.
These are also the same people that were terrified that Dark Souls 2 was going to be dumbed down. Mm-hmm. I don't want to share my games with other people.
Well, you get a lot of people that are like, oh, well, you've got these people who are just sitting around killing grunts, and it makes them feel good, but they're not good.
They're taking credit for something I'm working hard at because this is important stuff.
But at the same time, dude, you're going to pick them off just as easily as they're picking off grunts.
Because the more you kill,
it's gonna be
the
fine.
faster you get your next Titan. Mm-hmm. So why not?
Well, you're just better than them.
Also, the grunts are still shooting at you. It's in your best interest to not have like any extra threats. I find all of that nonsense so it's kind of sad and lonely. Like that I can't share. I am so much of my self-worth is built up with this activity. That, and you know what I say about, making a game more accessible? More people buy it. It's a really good business strategy.
Yeah, if you're really worried about a ghost
town, if you have something that's really good and you don't want to share it with anyone else because you're scared they're going to buy it, you won't be in business that long. All right, that will probably be one of several rants today. I love Titanfall, but I'm afraid that folks won't still play the campaign in about 2 months, so if people join late, they will not get the other Titans. This one, so if everyone knows, there is a campaign mode where you do a series of maps, you're still doing multiplayer, and you're doing both Team Deathmatch and Domination. You go through it. At the conclusion of playing each side, you unlock one of the Titan chassis. So that should be the first thing you do in playing the game. I have wondered this. I imagine without a significant adjustment to the game that could be, changed. And I imagine I would not be surprised if that's going to be something that happens down the line.
Robot!
You should run inside while you wait for your Titan. See, and like that smoothness of jumping in. There's a very, and I'm not going to use the V word because that's not what it is. There's a propulsive quality to like the way you move and the way then you just kind of jump up side a building or jump into your Titan.
I remember that's my Vortex shield. All right.
Do you think an army of analysts will be out of a job if Dark Souls 2 outsells Titanfall this week? I think an army of more than just analysts will be out of a job if that happens. It would be an incredible story. But let's see, we're getting a lot of questions that are coming in here. Do you guys think Respawn will stick with EA for the sequel? That is something that happens inside of a business room, and let's just say it's not just goodwill that makes those decisions happen. Do you think the Titanfall user base will take a hit once the next COD map pack drops? God, that's a good question. I think that will help dictate a lot of where Call of Duty is going to go. I would be very interested to see what the next Call of Duty game is going to look like, and if it might have a certain high-tech gear in it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as interested as you, and that's not what I want to necessarily prophesize.
Yeah!
Speaking of reviews, Adam, your Bioshock Infinite review is on the cusp of 1.5 million views.
Oh.
Look at that.
Congratulations,
Took a week to get the first million and a year to get the second half. The cool thing about Titanfall is that it feels a lot like Team Fortress, where the classes play very differently, yet it still has the arcadey experience of COD. I do kind of wish it had a commander like in Battlefield 2. Yeah, I mean, I hear where you're coming from. I'm sorry I didn't finish the whole thing. It's a very large paragraph, because there only are a handful of weapons. There's only a handful of classes. I find that they have been so careful about how this game was designed, and not just to balance, but to a sense of fun, and that there's something very distinct and, as I like to say, essential about the classes and the weaponry, that it really opens up the game rather than, to be honest, as EA likes to do with a lot of its games, we have more! And more just means, great, here are more guns that have an even smaller margin of distinction between each other. That's not to say that they couldn't try to design more classes in the future, and that wouldn't be cool. But I think that there's something, if not, I don't want to use the word cautious, but they walked into the design of this game knowing their limitations and making sure that the actual experience of the game, rather than the sales points, are what really are its best quality.
One of those things that I was thinking about a lot when Bennett Foddy, the guy who made like GURP and QWOP and all those games, and is working on Sports Friends, wrote a thing on Polygon about why there was no online mode in Towerfall and how hard it is to do an online mode.
Yes, making games is hard.
Yeah. And
Fun
why,
fact.
and why, just technically why it would be hard for a small team. He talked a little bit about Nidhogg. We played Nidhogg, and Nidhogg's great until you try to
Nidhogg.
Nidhogg, sorry. Until you try to go online with Nidhogg, and then you're just like, this is the worst net code. And because it was a small team, it took the dude 2.5 years, and that wasn't his focus.
Yeah.
And I feel like with something like Titanfall, you hear a lot of people complaining, like, why isn't there more? Why isn't there more? Now, keep in mind, a lot of these people still have yet to play the game and unlock everything that's in the game.
Yeah.
They're going just based on, reading reviews and what their impressions are, and that's fine. Like, if you play video games a lot, you probably have a good read on what you're going to like and what you're not going to like. But for me, to play something that is this fun with the environments that do feel like they're full of fun little surprises, with the unlocks that happen at the right pace for me, and the unlocks, like you said, that do feel meaningful, to me, that's more important than saying I can also play this single player.
Yeah. Well, it's also, come on, guys, I mean, think about Battlefield 4. I think that game, in many ways, would have been better without the cynicism of that crappy single-player campaign.
Yeah,
it's something to consider. And I think play to your strengths. That's a good thing, both in games and in life.
Well, there are two types.
This map you're about to play, I really, really like.
There are two types of people that play Call of Duty. There's a very small number that actually plays it for the campaign, and then there's the majority of the people play it online.
Once upon a time, it was most impressive for the campaign.
Exactly.
Yeah, which I find very interesting.
But man, you play through the campaign once in a Call of Duty, and it's not like you want to go back through that again. I mostly don't want to go through it once.
You play half of a campaign in a Call of Duty, and it's like, why am I doing this? I could just punch myself in the crotch and probably...
You're in another country now. Why? I don't, just go, man.
People look different over there. Shoot them now.
Guys,
shoot the different folk.
And now we're in a second country because...
Space!
Espionage.
Shoot them in space. Shoot the different people in space.
Yeah. It's just like, it's probably you're just doing it because your friends aren't online.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for them to get online.
What's your favorite anti-Titan weapon, Adam? I'm blanking on the name. Okay, I really like the arc cannon, but the Oh, sorry, that's a Titan weapon. My apologies. I want to say it's the Sidewinder. It's more like the gun than the single missile shot.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if it's really, it's definitely not as powerful, but I feel like I'm doing something more and more frequently.
Yeah, I get real nervous. I don't play a lot of first-person shooters, which all of you can probably tell, but
well,
I don't
let's be fair. One of the reasons I'm not playing this, to play a game like this and try to talk to an audience at the same time and be entertaining it's very hard. It's really hard.
But I'm one of those people where because I don't play first-person shooters a lot, I'm usually new to them or unfamiliar with them, and I also don't have the highest skill set. So for me, to stand in one place while a weapon charges is it gives me a sense of anxiety. Yeah, so I don't like the rocket launcher as much.
No, I love this pistol because, once again, to talk about the kind of the clever balance, everyone's like, oh man, that's just for all the noobs, because I think they still use the word noobs, don't they? I was in a movie called that. Did you know that?
Do you actually talk about that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to.
So, against grunts, you can take them down in one shot with a headshot. It automatically does a headshot. But against pilots, you need three shots.
3 lock-ons.
You need to do 3 lock-ons. And to make that effective, you need to be closing that distance and keeping very close. And there's a wonderful risk-reward that's happening there. And I think in that instance, more than almost anything else in the game, really shows how they did something unique and thought about it for a long period of time.
Well, and I think that's the thing, is you can look at footage of this game and you can go, well, it looks like Call of Duty, which makes sense coming from the team that comes. It looks like Call of Duty. It looks like the smart gun's easy. It looks like this. But when you actually get into it and you're playing it, you do see all the different things that they did to kind of balance that out.
Now, the one thing which, and this I attribute a little bit more to my skill level and just how I was playing the game. Man, this is not a game where I am adept at sniping, because you have to be so on the move.
Dude, I can't even imagine sniping in this game.
Hard.
But I get sniped.
No, there's that guy out there who's all good at it.
When dudes know where to be, oh man.
Oh yeah, so that's the anti-Titan weapon.
Because there are so many nooks and crannies to hide in. And I feel like once I actually do get a feel for these maps, oh man.
I think you do, but there's always someone who's like knows to look for me there. Like, it's kind of like always be moving. Like, get a few shots, keep going.
Well, and I think that's the other cool thing about the 6-on-6 that people don't realize too. 6-on-6 in an environment with this many different places to go and to hide and things like that really makes it so you can't just set up to snipe and randomly somebody's going to run by because you're in a 16-on-16. It's just like, you just set up, oh, a guy just happened to randomly run by. This is more about, I know where that bullet's coming from.
The whole hullabaloo about the 6-on-6 is like, I'm being denied things that I need. It's like, these people make games because they know about designing games more than we do. At least until you play it, gives them benefit of the doubt that there's wisdom behind their decision making. I need more.
Nothing in this gives me more stuff. Nothing in this game feels like they did it because they couldn't pull something else off. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And
why is it 6-on-6 in a game like this? Or why is it, well, probably because when you're looking at this engine and you're looking at this, it's probably not because they can't put more in there.
But does it make it more of a fun game?
Yeah.
Look, and the whole thing is, honestly, I don't know if Battlefield really serves myself better that that the console version was able to live up to the with the PC numbers were, because it's how those players are being forced together in one place to compete, how you're playing within that space. There's a lot more to consider than just numbers, and it was by saying words like that I got myself into trouble about resolution. Yay. Big numbers. I mean, it's such an American thing. Numbers. We need numbers that are more than that number. That way we can measure things.
Right.
That's pretty much like how American politics works. It's like nuance. What's that? I've never heard of that word. Is there any genre of game you like to see Respawn produce? It's clear there's a lot of talent behind creating polished first-person shooters. What about other kinds of games? I'm not saying they can't do anything else, but this game actually made me excited about multiplayer shooters for the first time in a while. So I'd like them to keep doing that. You know what? If they want to do a platformer, so be it. But it has to be side-scrolling. It has to be side-scrolling, yes. Oh, hey, just so everyone knows, I caught wind of this. Abby Happy, who I once worked with, who is a Respawn community manager and whose voice and somewhat, yeah, I would say some of her likeness is in the game. She's on Seth Meyers' show on late night tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So, tune in for that.
Woo! Leveling up in Robits. I haven't used Robit
Also, the
Buddy
leveling
mode.
happens at a good enough clip that you always feel like, oh, okay, I'm not that terrible. And then you kind of see you're standing at the end of the match. You're like, oh, I'm not terrible. If I dislike COD because you die very fast, is there a lot of camping? Do you think I could get into Titanfall? Look, if you do not like COD, I'm not saying buy it. Go find your friend, try it. I don't like COD for that very reason. I'm really in love with this game. And the fact that this is one of the guys who really created, a lot of the guys who created COD, I think that this is attempting to address those problems that, you know, kind of were established by that franchise.
Like right now, like even right now, in this last bit, when you think about the balancing that goes in, just because Titans can't jump, like, and now I've got to pick off all these little dudes who can just run around wherever they want.
Well, exactly. You're almost stuck on a lane. I almost said it's almost reminiscent of a MOBA, but I didn't want to kind of damn it with faint praise.
Yeah.
But it really changes. Everyone can find you. Your paths and maneuvering are going to funnel you into other Titans so much faster than a pilot is going to find other pilots. I mean, I just love all these kind of multi-tiered game within a games that you're getting out of this.
Yeah, it's cool, you guys. I like Titanfall.
Oh, that's right. Except I was paid to say all of this. Yeah, completely forgot about that. Someone asked him if he could trust my reviews, but he's worried that I'm paid off. And I was like, well, then don't trust my review.
Yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
like, and also, Guy, and everyone else who thinks that, like, I know that you're telling me those things because I'm supposed to feel the pain here, but if I don't know who you are, I'm not going to miss you. So,
Well,
yeah.
but I mean, even more than that, I think
It's a really good game, and it's like, yeah, I really like it.
Do we want to let's close up with a few more? If you guys have a few more questions about
take a look.
Titanfall, anything you want to know? Is anyone else hoping for a Titan that was a giant robotic cat? Yes. Animal Titans.
I would love to think that that's where some of like the add-ons might come from. I'm not saying that I have to play differently. I want to personalize my Titan.
Yeah.
I want to put stickers on it. I want to give it a special name. I know. And I want it even more now.
I don't do micropayments in games, but
I would spend a considerable sum of money.
Custom Titan, not like functionality, but if I could just make my Titan look the way I want it to look.
That's Sessler. All done up with cat ears and you know, caterpillars.
Adam Billen says, I need to decide between Infamous Second Son and Titanfall.
Have not played Infamous yet.
Haven't played it yet.
Really hoping to get my hands on that soon, given when its release date is going to be. Apples and oranges is what I can pretty much tell you right now.
Yeah, it feels like, which genre of game do you
Kind of like, do I want a sundae or do I want a steak?
The reason it's 6v6 is because of the size of the Titans. Yeah, that's true. God, 24 Titans in one place.
That would be kind of, it's, yeah.
I want to make a Titan look like a big daddy. Yeah! Into it. Into it.
Yeah, I think, I would like to think that with success with this game, that will open up some opportunities that I think would have been a distraction and an unnecessary use of resources for the initial launch. Give me some slappies, you know, some stickers and like, you know, Dookie was here. I could write that on the side of my Titan.
Would you say Titanfall is the Alan Wake of shooters? Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Of course we would. How do you guys feel about the game being built on a 10-year-old engine? I mean, I don't know about engines. I don't build engines.
Well, we enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, God, this game is worse because it's on a 10-year-old engine.
I don't
It's
think
not. There's no inherent flaw. This isn't Hamlet.
If the game was bad, then you can start pointing at tech, right? But there's no reason to point at tech if you're having fun with the game. Are you guys excited from GDC? Do you think we're going to see some new VR tech from Sony or Microsoft? Sony's got that headset, but I'm waiting to see what they do with the game.
I can honestly say I don't think so because I am not going to anything involving Sony or Microsoft that would allow for that to happen. It could be that both companies are hiding things from me and don't want me to have fun in their reindeer games. Having said that, I believe there is a lot more VR tech than just Oculus that will be present at GDC. I've seen quite a few invites for stuff like that come through my inbox.
I kind of, I really do just kind of want Oculus to come out and take a position of superiority, not because I have any particular love for the Oculus, even though I think it's a great piece of tech. I just want there to be one VR standard for a while.
Yeah.
That everybody sort of adopts.
Yeah, actually, that's a really interesting point.
Because otherwise, I feel like we're not going to get the developers jumping into VR that we want.
Or that they're going to kind of go all in on one.
I think
it'll cost more money to try to do iterations for every different platform.
I think the worst thing that could possibly happen for us is everybody announces VR.
Yes,
That
you know
would
what?
be the worst thing.
Prepare for the worst. I would absolutely prepare for the worst on this one, and
I don't think at GDC though.
I don't think at this GDC,
Yeah.
but I think we're going to start to see the intimations of that. I honestly don't know if Microsoft is going to go that route. Especially if Sony's going to do it, let Sony do their thing, like Microsoft do their thing. I think consoles, like if they didn't have it in the works, don't do the move.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Sony's got the pedigree for it. They have a headset that already does 3D and head tracking. It just doesn't do any PlayStation stuff yet, and they're crazy enough. They're crazy enough to do it.
Well,
they come out with weird peripherals on the red.
With all due respect to the guys at Oculus, Sony is a large technology company that already has a manufacturing infrastructure inside of it. I mean, I have to acknowledge that quality notwithstanding, Sony, if they're really going to do this, they have a certain edge because of that, just because of the nature of the corporation.
Yeah, but I like VR, and that's fun. Why didn't Rev 3 Games, this is one, okay, this is the one. Why didn't Rev 3 Games, this is from Nexusaur, do a review in progress of Titanfall like many other sites?
Okay, so I'm going to respond to this. And first thing, I do not disabuse any of the other sites for making that decision. That is absolutely within, it is the prerogative, and then they made the call. There are many factors that I did not make that call. The key one is I don't review servers. What I played was a game, and I do this with all the games. I evaluated the game based upon the design of the game, the creativity, and how that worked and how it presented. I think that I'm worried, at least for us, I don't want to get too distracted about this idea that we are somehow the protector of the consumer, and that without my input, somehow all of you guys out there somehow are not clever or smart enough to know that this game was actually going to be online, it was going to be on servers, and there is definitely an X factor that cannot be predicted, and that the caution should be employed in buying the game. What I knew I could say is that this game, as it is supposed to be played, is remarkable. I know that that gets the ire of a lot of the people out there, but that's just how we roll. That's definitely how I roll. And I felt that in terms of how much I had played of the game, I felt very comfortable with how I felt about its design and what went into it. I know a lot of the other sites did otherwise. What I do wonder about is I woke up yesterday morning, of course, to some friends of mine, colleagues of mine, who felt it necessary to more or less disparage anybody who gave it a score. Apparently they are no longer to be trusted, in one case was said. Not pointing to me in particular, but I got caught up in that. And that is to what I have to say. Can we all just tend to our own fucking gardens?
Look.
It's just, I don't know why we have to police each other.
Here's the deal. I understand people being standoffish after things like Battlefield, SimCity, Diablo 3. Like, I get that.
Oh, no,
like,
that's
I get
completely
that.
sensible. Yes.
I totally understand what they're saying. But why withhold a score? Because here's the thing. The biggest issue that you have when you review an online game is, were there enough people for me to play the game as it was supposed to be played?
Yes.
Usually that's a problem.
Yes.
Usually it's like reviewers, you guys don't see this, but usually a lot of reviewers are trying to scramble to all get in a game together. So there are enough people to really feel like what this game is about. That wasn't the problem with Titanfall. Titanfall was working as it was supposed to be working. But knowing that large server infrastructures go down, instead of withholding a score, could we not just say, like,
this game is good.
There are two extremes going on here, right? There are people that are responding to that backlash from their SimCity reviews, their Diablo 3 reviews, and then there's somebody like you who's saying, like, look, you guys are gamers, you're smart, you understand how this stuff works. You don't need me to tell you that this requires the internet. But in the middle of that, can't you be like, yo, I'm giving this a 5, but remember that this is a online-only game. It launches tomorrow. There may be server problems. I don't have control over that. If you worry about that sort of thing, wait a couple
weeks. And the thing is, obviously, we're keeping an eye on everything that's happening. We were going to do a follow-up video saying this is what we think. You know, obviously, we stand by the fact that this game is very fun to play. We were going to wait and see. I also do believe that most people were aware that, yeah, the internet is a place that is not exactly consistent in how it happens. And you know, this also goes to another philosophy, which is I don't look at games as products. That is, once again, something that I think that distinguishes the way I approach games from some other sites out there. And I think we need to have a difference of perspective. That I believe in game journalism is an ecosystem, not some kind of not some sort of hierarchy that's supposed to be out there. Some people out there are looking at it as a product, and what you're going to get as the consumer. I would like to just foster a discussion about what games mean, and that comes through with a review. And if we get too bogged down on how much does it cost and what do you get from it, or you know, what is its functionality on servers that may not, in many cases, necessarily be under the custody of the people who made the game. That, you know, these things it becomes very, very murky and very challenging. I decided to draw a line that I know upsets a lot of people, and all I say is, I do it this way. I let people do it the other way. You once again are smart enough to make your call.
Yeah. So there you go, guys.
Yep. There we go.
So
and I quoted Voltaire.
If you haven't watched the Titanfall review, the Rev3 Games YouTube channel, you can find it there. We do these every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
So if you haven't subscribed on YouTube or followed us on Twitch, that's a thing you can do right now at twitch.tv/Rev3Games, youtube.com/Rev3Games. I'm wearing an Adam shirt, by the way.
Pants.
Pants.
Also, check out our Dark Souls 2 review.
Oh, yeah.
Because if there's any game that I think could legitimately go up against Titanfall because it does not cover anywhere near the same ground, it is Dark Souls 2.
That's the game I was really looking forward to this week, even though I'm really into Titanfall.
Why are you talking that way? I can hear you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
See, if you cover your mouth.
Guys, we'll see you. Maybe you should have covered your mouth when you said a swear. Adam Sessler said a swear, and you all heard it. And he'll swear again next week at 4 p.m. Pacific time.